Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, I've got a very special guest. He is the number 12 ranked senior in the class for 2021. He is a part of a legendary recruiting class for NC State. And this past weekend, he tore it up in Florida at the ISCA Senior Cup. Today, we are talking to Arsenio Bustos.
Hey, how you doing, Coleman?
Doing well. It's great to meet you. Great to have you on. Let's start with that ISCA Cup in Florida. You went down there. I have to ask, were you fully shaved and tapered? Was this a focus meet for you?
Yeah, this was my last shaving suit meet before trials, so I was going on.
Okay, and then tell me about it. You dropped a 143 200 IM, 5300 breast. You broke 20 in the 50 free for the first time. You were just throwing bests left and right. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I was pretty happy with it. I went down there. I didn't really have any goal times because it's been so long since I shaved and suited for short course, because of COVID. So I didn't really go down there with any goal times. So I was really happy with what I did.
You're looking at your best times. It seems like you're just so versatile and can swim so many things. Did you have a favorite race this weekend?
The 100 free long course at finals was hands down my favorite race, just because I was next to Caeleb and I started to close a little bit on him the last 30, 40 meters. So that was definitely my favorite one.
And you went a best time there as well. You were 49 low. Is that right?
Yeah, I went 49.2.
Okay. And that's a huge best from 50.5 was your last personal best.
Yeah, no, that 100 free, I was happy with the 49.2, but I was mainly happy about just kind of because I was hitting a big mental block with the 100 free long course. I was stuck at 50-point mid for way too long. So my only goal was really to just break out of that. And if I went 49.9, I would have been happy with it. But to go 49.2, I was more shocked than happy just because I wasn't expecting something that fast.
Yeah. And that ISCA Cup, it was so great because you did have the likes of Caeleb Dressel, Ryan Lochte, Joe Schooling, Jack Conger. That was just the top end. But, what was the competition like in getting to race those guys, especially as you mentioned, Dressel head to head in the 100 free?
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I've raced Jack before. I raced him at the US Open in Richmond. But to race Caeleb and Joe and Ryan too was crazy. It was very nerve-wracking. It was really nerve-wracking more than anything. I was behind the blocks just trying to calm myself down, just trying to talk myself down to earth because I thought I was going to get sick because of how nervous I was racing against those guys, just because for the longest time I was just this little kid that was just swimming in these meets, and to race against those guys was crazy.
That sounds super cool. And it sounds like you had a really great meet. Did you have a swim where you didn't go a best time?
100 fly at finals, I didn't go best time. I haven't touched I went 52.8 in November, and I haven't touched that since. I was pretty frustrated with it, but I can't be too mad because of how the rest of the meet went.
Yeah. 52.8 in November, last November, it's still pretty recent, right?
I wanted to drop a little bit off that, but it was like a 4 feet deep pool on the start and turn end. So it was, I couldn't complain. It wasn't the best conditions, especially outdoor, because I don't really race outdoor ever.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds nice. I asked about if you had a favorite race at this meet, but again, your versatility, I think, shows you swam bunch of hundreds, bunch of 50s, the 2 IM. Do you have a stroke that you feel like is the best one for you?
I'm not too sure. Definitely not breaststroke, I'll say that. But my best stroke it changes. it changes like throughout the months. Like a couple of months ago, it was freestyle, and then going a couple months like later, it was fly, and then it went to backstroke, and then it changed again. It's just as of right now, I'd probably say freestyle is my best stroke, but who knows how long that'll stay for.
What? Hold on. You went 53.5 in the 100 breast,
Yeah.
and breast is definitely not your best stroke.
No, it's. I mean, the I swim good short course breaststroke just because of the pullouts. I was thinking more long course. Long course, it's not. It's probably my worst, but short course, it's definitely up there with the rest. It's kind of like a level playing field between the four strokes and short course.
Gotcha. That's cool. And so give me a little context just about your swim background. How do you train and how do you keep all four of those strokes in such good shape?
Okay, yeah. So my team, we kind of do a form of USRPT. We don't do it exactly, but we do like 25s almost like every single day. Me as a sprinter, I don't hit more than like 4,000 yards a day. Sometimes on a Saturday morning, I'll go 6,000 if my coach is just trying to kill us. Um, but I mainly only train IM. Like I just train IM like all the time just to keep like all my strokes fresh. Sometimes I'll focus on one stroke versus another stroke, or sometimes I'll go one whole practice just doing like fly or back. But I mainly just train IM. I do IM as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. And what team do you swim with in Connecticut?
Woodbridge Aquatic Club. We swim out of our home pool is this little elementary school pool. It's a 6-lane pool. That's where I train.
Do you have a pretty sizable training group or is it kind of smaller?
With COVID, it's in the beginning of COVID, we were only allowed to have like 18 people in the pool, like 3 per lane. We have a 6-lane pool, and it's starting to open up more. Like now we could have 24 in the pool at once. But before COVID, we had like 50, 60 people in the pool at once. So we had a pretty good training group, but not like now it's a lot smaller.
If you guys' group is 50, 60 people, it seems like USRPT is the only thing you could do.
Yeah, we're it's even like sometimes doing USRPT, if we're trying to do like low interval, it'll be rough. Some like fly, like I'll do a fly set, and then the fly 25s will be on like 25 or something like that, and then I touch the wall. Like a couple seconds later, I'll go, and then I'm over here doing something like this on the way down the pool, trying not to hit people. So it gets a little crowded sometimes, but it works.
So has, under COVID precautions with only swimming with 18 or 24, has that actually been nicer?
Yeah, it's a lot nicer because you like have the whole like your entire lane to like actually do your stroke. You don't have to worry about hitting anybody else. But it's also a lot nicer because I was talking to my coach about this, and he said that he's able to like focus more on like each individual swimmer and spend more time because there aren't as many people in the pool at once. And it's kind of nice because he focuses more on like each of us, and we get more like feedback and stuff. So I like it a lot more.
It sounds really nice. I mean, yeah, do you personally, how do you feel like you've benefited from that?
Um, I mean, like my coach doesn't really give me as much feedback because he says himself that he doesn't think he needs to. But it's definitely nice not to have to worry about like swimming, flying, like taking somebody's head off. So I definitely like it.
Yeah. And then just in terms of the pool itself, I'm just curious, is it a shallow pool because it's an elementary school pool?
Yeah, it kind of it's like 4 feet at one end, and then around like 12 yards in, it drops down to like 13 feet. But it's from like 4 to like 8 feet, like going down like halfway through the pool. So it's shallow on one end but deep on another. It's not bad for a training pool.
Nice. Do you have blocks at the other end or at the deep
Yeah.
end?
Yeah, we have very small blocks. We have really small blocks. It's hard for me to do starts on them because I put my feet pretty far back. So we'll do starts in practice, and my feet slip off the block all the time. It's like a daily occurrence. Like I can't do a good start on those blocks, but it's what I got. So
Nice. Do you guys ever swim at any other pool?
Um, Sometimes during Christmas, if we're able to, we'll rent a pool. It's like 30 minutes away from us. It's at this college called Wesleyan University, and we'll do long course training there for like a week.
Hmm.
But that's really like the only other time we're in a separate pool. But other than that, no.
So do you normally you never train long course?
No, I only train yards. We and like the when we go to Wesleyan, it's like very like it's some Christmases. Like it's
Mhm.
not like every year, right? So I mainly train yards all year round. So it makes
Interesting.
long course a little tough when I first go to those meets.
Yeah, I mean, so just this past week, going to Florida, how do you what do you do to kind of make up for that if you can do anything when you're racing long course at night?
Um, I try to get in a long warm up, a really long warm up, just to try to like just get myself adjusted to the long pool as much as possible. But I generally can like I can switch pretty well between long course and short course swimming. So it's not really like too tough for me, especially since all like most of my meets coming like leading up to this meet were long course. Like all my prior racing experience would have been long course. So it wasn't as bad. But I like if it's like first long course meet of the season, I'll try to get like a really long warm up in like 30 minutes and then I'll just see what I can do in the races. It's just the whole learning process.
Nice. So in terms of your swimming background, have you been with this club for a long time? And I'm curious if you've been training under this philosophy of, being more of a sprinter, swimming only, 4K a practice. Have you done that pretty much your whole swim career?
No, I've been on two teams before this. I got onto this team long course season of 2016. I started with this team, and that's when I started this whole like different philosophy of how to train. But now prior to that, I was on another team where I was doing like the 8,000 yards a day, and it just
So sorry, I lost you just at the end there. So prior to this, you were on another team doing 8,000 yards a day.
yeah about 8,000, like give or take, and
Mhm.
it was rough. It was rough for me just because I don't like training that much. Like doing 8,000 yards within like an hour and a half, 2 hours is just it gets boring at some point. So
Yeah.
doing this, it's like you're into it the entire time. It makes practice go by so fast. It's so much nicer.
And if I'm doing the math right, you were doing upwards of 7K when you're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah,
Um,
it was when I was 12, 13. I switched to this team when I was 13 years old. So doing all that when I was like 12 years old was rough. It was
That's
real
a lot.
rough.
That's a lot, and everyone has their different philosophy, but to me, that's a lot of yardage. That's a lot of time in the pool, and so yeah, that I think that's interesting, and I think that's pretty cool that you kind of switched, found something that worked a lot better for you. How long are your practices now? What's your schedule like?
Um, it's about like it's like an hour. It's either like an hour and 50 minutes to 2 hours. It kind of ranges between the days, but we get in a good workout. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do two workouts. So I'll go to like a different pool that I work at with my coach, and we'll go like one on one, and then we'll do 2 hour practices in the morning, and then that night we'll go another 2 hour practice. So I get in a pretty good training block.
Yeah. Do you lift or do you dry land at all?
Yeah, I do dry land Tuesday and Thursday for like an hour. Um, and that's that's rough for me too because I didn't really have much drawing experience up until like this past summer. So it's been a lot adjusting to it. And not being in school is helping me too because I finished school early. So I'm just kind of like training right now. It's really nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in just a sec. Tell me about your dry land a little more. What kind of stuff are you doing?
We do a lot of plyo work and then like a lot of mobility and stability work. It's not really as much. It's not like a lot of strength, like pure brute strength training. I don't really do a lot of that because that's not like really what I need. I have very unstable shoulders, so we do a lot of like band work with my shoulders and all that stuff because my shoulders were really bad a few years ago. So that's kind of like the main focus is like working on my shoulders. But yeah, a lot of plyo work.
Are you someone who's like super flexible or double jointed?
Yeah, with my shoulders especially. And my shoulders were really bad. It was like 2 years ago, and my shoulders were really bad to the point where I was using paddles in practice, and I pulled and I dislocated my shoulder just in the middle of practice, and I had to get out and I had to stop practicing for like a couple days just because I messed up my shoulder. But after that, I had to put muscle on my shoulders just so I wouldn't get injured again.
That makes sense. I mean, I feel like most swimmers or a lot of swimmers have that problem. It's very common, but yeah, that's cool that you were. I really like how functional dry land is becoming more of a trend in our sport, and doing things not just to, like you said, get brute strength, but actually address the weaknesses or the areas of improvement you might have.
Yeah.
And so you're out of school. You finished high school early in the winter. What's that been like? You're just hanging out, getting buff,
it's I'm
getting
taking some
fast.
I'm taking some online college courses just to get some credits out of the way for when I go down to North Carolina. So my load is a little bit lighter. But I'm really just kind of I don't really do much all day. If I leave the house, I'm like going to like train or I'm going to lift or something. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really stress free right now. I'm enjoying it while I can.
That sounds really nice, especially during a pandemic where you can't really see a ton of people anyway. If you're going to be stuck at home, you might as well not not have to worry about school.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That seems nice. Do you? I mean, you mentioned it's stress free. Do you feel like it's affected, swimming, your ability to focus on the courses you're taking at all?
Yeah, the courses that I take, they don't take up like too much time, so it's like an hour like every day that I just am doing work. So it's not like a lot of my energy, but I get to put a lot of focus on my swimming and my races. So I like to watch race videos a lot, and I like to like dissect my stroke. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to swimming, so I get to put a lot of time and energy into just like sitting down watching race videos for hours on hours a day. Um, and yeah, that's kind of what the chunk of my time is.
Okay, so let's break down this last week then. What have you seen in your race videos that you're like, oh, I could this is what I did well, this is what I could improve on.
Okay, yeah. So the race that I was watching the most was the 100 free long course when I was next to Caeleb. And I I started to notice that my start in like the first 15, 20 meters is pretty sluggish on my race, and I build into it a lot more. So I feel like I need to kind of work on that like explosive speed, like right off the bat. Then I noticed a lot of other things in my 2 IM, like my back to breast turn isn't really what I would like to, and my pull out, my breaststroke isn't really what I'd like it to be. There's a lot of things. I'm very critical on myself, so I can rip apart every race if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to complain about what I did last week.
So as being someone who is more sprint oriented, self-proclaimed, I'm curious how you approach a 200 IM, just in terms of what do you focus on during the race, and how do you make it successful, because it is a 200.
Yeah. Um, the 200s are the 200 IM isn't really that bad for me. I kind of it's not really so much of a sprint, but it's like a little bit of like a long sprint. And I feel like that's what is like kind of like my forte. I feel like that's what I'm best in. So for my 2 IM, I really just kind of like not really like cruise the first fly, but I don't really like push it too much just because I know like the speed is gonna be there regardless. And then the 50 back, I try to push it a little more. And then the breast, I kind of the first couple like strokes, like the first like 6 strokes, I like kind of like let myself recover just like a little bit from the backstroke, and then I build into the wall, going into the freestyle, and then I just like blast the freestyle. So it's kind of just how I go about it 2 IM.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just curious for your perspective. Obviously, it seems like it works. Um, and so then I gotta ask about NC State. You guys, this class is the stuff of legends at this point. And you guys haven't even set foot on campus. Um, I've asked everyone who I've interviewed from your class this question, but I mean, you guys, since you've committed, you all were very good swimmers since you committed. Since everyone's committed, they've just gotten like noticeably better. Everyone's gone best times. Everyone's had at least one meet where they just light it up. How fun is it to be a part of that class where you're like, dude, if I don't drop massive time, I'm gonna be left in the dust.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I really enjoy it because we all push each other. We all push each other a lot. Like we're all super close friends, but we're all hyper competitive. So whenever like somebody goes a really fast time, like the other person wants to go with time that's like just as fast, if not faster. So it kind of like keeps us at a constant like high level. So we are always like competing against each other, but we're all friends in the end. So it's all just good fun.
Yeah. Then what has it been like to have all committed around the same time of like fall 2008 19? It was like 2 years ago. Yeah. And 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 then you guys have had now a year and a half to develop this relationship as a class, even again before setting foot on campus.
Yeah. We've built a really good relationship. We FaceTime a lot. We text all the time. Um, I talk to Sam probably the most out of all of them, but everyone, we're all super close friends. So it's going to be a lot of fun when we get down on campus, since we already all know each other so well.
Do you guys already have goals as a class for what you want to accomplish while you're at NC State?
Yeah, we have a lot of goals. I'm not gonna put them out there. But we've definitely talked about what we want to do and like how we want to do really well in the NCAA.
And I mean, obviously, NCAA's just occurred. What do you guys make of the Wolfpack's performances, men and women's side?
Yeah, no, we were really happy. We were really happy actually, just because of how hectic this year has been and how well they were able to take it. So we saw how they did, and we could have been we were just proud just of how they handled everything. It was really great to see them go off.
Yeah, and then what do you talk to people who are on the team now, or do you talk to the coaches pretty regularly?
Um, I don't talk to many people on the team as much. I talk to some of the guys. Not really too many people on the women's side, but I talk to Dan Kolupski like all the time. We text pretty frequently. So I'm already starting to build a good relationship with all them down there. It's really nice.
Nice. And then are you going to be there this fall? Are you going? I know some freshmen go early in the summer. When's your ETA to
Um,
Raleigh?
it's like the second week of August. It's right
Okay.
before Junior Worlds, I think, is something like that, or right around that time. So it's gonna be around then. I'm not sure if I don't think we can go down in June. I'm not too sure. I don't really know many of the details about when we're able to go down, but I know like August 15th or something like that is our moving day. So that's probably when we're all gonna end up going down.
Are you eligible for Junior Worlds?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I'll be able to go if I make it. Hopefully, I make it.
There's okay, so I didn't. Junior Worlds wasn't even on my radar because this year is so bizarre and mixed up. But is that something you are focusing on heading into trials?
Well, heading into trials, I just want to perform well. And if I make the Junior Worlds team, then I make the Junior Worlds team. That'd be great. But I'm just going in there just trying to knock down my PBs and just go fast. That's kind of like my main goal. And if I make Russia, then it'll be a bonus.
Yeah. Do you have a set event lineup for trials yet?
Not yet because I think I have like 6 events to choose from. I don't have a set lineup just yet, but I think two IM, one fly, one free are like the three definites that I'm gonna swim when I'm going down there. But I'm not too sure about the other ones. I have to pick and like look at the
Gotcha.
schedule and everything, see what lines up with what.
What are the other three that you would pick from?
I have all four of the hundreds, the 50 and the two IM. And I would probably pick the 1 fly, 1 free, and then 2 IM. And then I don't know, maybe like the 100 back or something like that. I'm not too sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a sweet event lineup. I feel like that's the Michael Andrew lineup.
Yeah, Michael Andrew would go a lot faster than me. Michael Andrew could probably a final and everything.
We'll call that the USRPT lineup.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you're obviously getting ready for trials this summer. It's obviously been a weird year. Having been through this COVID year, do you feel like you've had takeaways either in the pool, outside of the pool, physically, emotionally, about after handling and being able to navigate this for a whole year?
Yeah. It's definitely, the break definitely made me appreciate swimming a lot more, because since swimming is basically like, that's basically all I do. I was really missing it when I was out of the water. So it made me like develop such a stronger like love for the sport, and it made me kind of enjoy training a lot more and really like excited to go to practice every day. So I feel like the break actually helped my swimming.
Did you develop any hobbies over the break when especially, was there a time when you couldn't swim?
Yeah, we weren't able to swim for, let's see, we shut down like the second week of March when everyone else did. And then I got into my neighbor's pool with like a bungee cord, like the second week of May, something like that. So it was a couple months without being in the pool, but.
Oh, wow. What were you doing during that time to just period? Were you exercising? Were you playing board games?
so like the first like 2-3 week lockdown where everyone was inside, me and my family just did a bunch of puzzles and we like watched movies and stuff. But I just ended up getting so bored to where I just like had to go outside and like work out or something, even if it was like 20 degrees up in Connecticut. I just need to go outside and do something just to get my heart rate up, because I was just bored out of my mind. But I would play a lot of Xbox with like Sam and the other NC State kids, so we'd all stay in touch. It was great.
Yeah, that seems like a good way to spend time, and as we've talked about, to develop that class relationship, which is super cool. Arsenio, it's been great talking to you and getting to know you a little bit. Any parting thoughts before we sign off today?
No, I don't think I have any extra thoughts. It was great. It was great being on here.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.